film, I felt that James Wright was a pompous, arrogant prick. I felt that James Wright was highly self-centered, very, very egotistical, and he has a heart, and it's broken and opened by a very special person by the name of Miranda Presley. And I think that's the point, that the hardest can be softened by the female touch. And I don't mean to segregate here, but there is an inherent sort of maternal quality that we get in women, and that we all need to respect and bow our heads. For instance, if I was to find a woman who's brilliant, well, then I just say yes and sign my life over to her. You call the shots and I'm there, because I trust women very much. I have 4 sisters and I have 1 mother, and then it's 5. And so I'm very much into change. I'm very much into changing what is now perceived as sort of modern representation of who we are generally, and I find it appalling, really. I think that where we're at now is more in reverse than neutral, and I'd like to see us in turbo thrust straight ahead. So hopefully these little subtle things can add up to something good for all of us.
And someone who's been a volunteer and active in animal rights issues for years and a vegetarian, I've certainly been aware of what you've done, which is quite a lot. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So it's all about reproduction, really. Back to the women.
This is our theme for today, gang.
Accept it. Yes, I'm pro living and people and creation bound having its rite of passage, and I find it a shame when innocence is stomped out by something bigger, especially when multinationals are involved, speaking of corporations, and all these little things do make a difference, I hope.
You grew up an animal lover?
An animal lover. I grew up loving life, and life in its context accepts everything in your perception. So if you perceive something as being real and alive, that is a cat, well then it is a cat, and we should make a decision. The decision could be kill it, or help it, or neglect it, or whatever, on and on. And that consciousness extends into plant life, and you can go on and on. And some of that stuff gets abstract, and sometimes we have to prioritize. We have to realize what is more important. For instance, the big issue, which was in the news forever, was the spotted owl versus the lumber. Well, in reality, it's not the spotted owl. It's about there will be no more lumber for all ye lumberjacks to cut in about 1-2 years' time, period, except for the stuff that we have planted and we are tree farms. So we have cut all the ancient forests, right? So the argument and all the propaganda that is in the lumber union, towards spotted owl versus humans, it's a lie. It's not that. It's humans versus humans. We are killing ourselves. We're cutting off our oxygen supply, which is more important than food.
You've been acting since
10. 10's a good number. Works with the metric system.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, as you've gotten older, you definitely more of the ask the type of roles that you want. But how old were you when you finally started making that transition? I'm sure your parents had a lot to do with the beginning of the day as far as what what kind of roles as an actor. What was their influence?
I was lucky in that I had parents that respected me as peer, and I always made my decisions. And at times I was.
Totally?
Well, actually, I'll make 2 exceptions. Okay, little Nikita, which I don't regret because Sidney Poitier is a genius and my idol, and Jimmy Reardon. which were Jimmy, and I know I think of Jimmy Ruth, which were more career-based moves. Ironically enough, failures. So I learned from that, and from then on, all my decisions have stopped here. I make all the decisions.
Press Kit says that you're in a band. You have a band. It's a rock band or a country?
No, it's actually more world music, ska, African influence, jazz, a very sort of diversified pop.
And country was something of a departure? Or?
Well, country was a complete departure, but it was also an educational experience in that I got deep into my Celtic roots. My father is Irish Native American, and I love the Appalachian influence, which comes from the Irish, and that mixed with the African American blues, which is the only original American music aside from the Native American music that was first on the scene. The black blues, man. That with the Appalachian folk and all that. I'm no scientist on this, so I could be missing a few things. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But that's basically the fork in the road that met up later, and I really like it. I really like that fusion. I learned a lot about blues, a lot about all that stuff. I like country a great deal. I don't like, in my opinion, I really don't like modern country, to be quite honest. Yeah, I find modern country kind of like what women have been doing with referencing themselves to men. In that you have the most popular, the ruling class, which could be a metaphor for pop or rock, and you have this convergence. You have this sort of conscious, country will be pop, and that's kind of like women will be corporate assholes, or whatever rules, and I find that to be disheartening. However, I also find it to be educational that you have a lot of dim-witted folk out there that don't have the sense to listen to their roots, and they hear whoever it is, I won't name any names, and they reference it back to what is country, and they start listening to Hank Williams Sr., and they start listening to all the good stuff, Rogers, all the...
But yet today's country is definitely younger talk is forward of country.
It doesn't mean it's good.
It's showing the changing times.
It is, and what that means, and on the opposite spectrum, what you have is rap music, which is the inner city truth, and it is truth. All that fucking this, that, the other, it is truth. And what you have with country, it's the truth for when you go back to roots, you trace it back to the rural roots community. And these are the opposite spectrums that in the center you have pop being the top of the pyramid, and these things, it just folds like an umbrella, and suddenly the top becomes, because the truth wants to be heard, and that's why country and rap on both sides in that stereo spectrum have become, I think so large, because people want to hear any truth. We're tired of hearing these coy, bastardized Beatle references. We're tired of this. What we want to hear is the truth.
In the movie, your character seems to believe that a certain amount of selfishness is necessary in his personal life in order to give his all in pursuing his career. Have you found that in your life?
Actually, I suffer because I don't have the shrewd and cruel nature that James Wright has, and because of that, I pass up good-paying jobs that could be maybe good for my career. I don't care, but I pass those up to be with my family, friends, and to make my music and to read books and to. The Confederacy of Dunces is what I'm on now. Great book. For those of you who haven't read it, Confederacy of Dunces by Tool.
Jimmy Cliff?
Jimmy Cliff is great.
I want to get back to this intelligent woman who's going to take control of you. Have you got ads out in the paper? Because they'll be flocking here.
I was asking if you can bring this news back to Canada.
I'm going to. You're going to get a million and one phone calls.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That kind of sounded like I'm looking for the proper commodity to invest in. And that's not what I mean at all. I just mean that if you could find someone who you love that is really strong and intelligent, and give your life to them. I think that's what I mean.
Of course, in the movie, the role that you played along with Miranda worked extremely well in that sense that she was somebody that was not going to put up. From this guy.
Right on, which is why I did the film. I love that. I love that aspect.
Have you gotten to sing in a movie before?
Happily, no.
Why happily?
Well, because I don't like singing in movies, and I never thought, is that your recorder because it's not turning?
We're on print anyway.
Yeah. The last thing in the world I want to do was ruin my band's future. And a good way of doing that is doing a musical. I basically ruined any chance. And others who are opportunists see it as a good career move. Let the movie audience understand that you have musical aspects about your personality, and I just felt like this is really stupid. But the reason why, the last thing in the world I want to do is a musical, much less a country musical. But I did it because it's good. It says something. I really liked it, and I had to put my ego aside and say, it doesn't matter. You don't want to sing. It's gonna be a miserable experience trying to sing, and watching it on film, and all your friends back at home will laugh to no end. You up there singing country songs and what have you, only because they're more like of the progressive scene, and country is seen as old hat, and I disagree with them. However, it was definitely not something good for me. I did it because I was good for it.
How was it for you?
But it did turn good.
Sorry?
How was it for you to watch yourself perform?
Miserable. It's always miserable to watch myself.
Why?
Why? Because I said it on the way back last night from the screening. I said, it's so strange to watch yourself and believe it, and then that makes everything you do in real life seem like a fraud, or like a fraud. You watch yourself. Yeah, I know, but it's hurtful to watch yourself tell someone, I love you. I'm sorry. All the things that we all say in our life, and then to see it up there on the screen and to believe it is the scariest thing. It's a good thing that I believe it, because that means it's good. But to believe it, unless it wasn't good, I don't know what you all think, but to believe it is the scary part, because you realize that you do that stuff and you say it in a similar way, because after all, I have the likeness of James Wright. We share facial features, and we also share a certain vocal, resonance,
You can point out which of your movies were artistic or financial disasters. Are you? I want to know if you're aware of the reputation you have. I mean, yay.
I have no idea. I stay completely out of the loop. What happened?
Right. Well, as I said, everyone else who come to our table said that they jumped into this film when you signed on, because it was a chance to work with you. That's sweet. It was a good financial move on their part too, but also they wanted to work with you.
Well, we'll see if it's a good financial move. Come to think of it, I'm going to be working with Tom Cruise. Maybe it was.
Are you working with him?
An Interview with a Vampire. I'm playing the interviewer. It's 10 days work.
So you did accept that then?
Yeah, and I accepted it before he accepted it.
And how do you
Whoa.
casting as the vampire Lestat?
I hate vampires. I think they're miserable. I think they're full of shit. I don't like them. I think they're bogus, and I hate vampires.
That's the interviewer.
And that's the interviewer. And I really feel that way.
Casting as
Well, Brad Pitt I like a great deal. So, and Tom Cruise, it'll be my pleasure.
Phone Brad Pitt in Calgary, please. Tell him to talk to us.
Wait,
He's
listen.
holed himself up there.
Okay, we sidestepped something. What was the point?
I wanted to know if you're aware of the reputation you have in the business.
What, running out of veins and then putting it into my cock?
No, I mean the.
I've heard that. I've heard a few things.
Oh.
Like what reputation?
Your acting ability.
Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah.
the truth, you mean?
Yeah.
I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky and privileged to be doing something that I respect and love so much, and I'm blessed, and I want to thank everyone who cares. And that's all. What can I say? I don't know.
But would you have wanted the Oscar if it had been given to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Why?
No.
Okay.
Because because I'm not worthy.
Yet, you mean?
I'm not worthy, period. It's a complete fluke that I'm here talking to you all now. I said, this is crazy.
Doing this whole...
No, us humans, so it's just our whole game. It's just very funny. No, I only do it for stuff that I like. Actually, that's the neat thing. I vary. To sidestep that, it reminds me of dailies. Rush is watching people when they see what you did the day before. I have studios so confused because they watch dailies of 8 printed takes, and each take is monumentally different. So what you have is basically complete creative control for the director, and that's the way I work. And if I trust the director, I'll give him that. And if I don't trust him, then I'll just play it monotone. So what you have is many takes and many sessions and dailies where people didn't know what this movie would be like. I think he hates me. No, we're friends. Yeah, I gave him 8 variations for everything we did. And the movie could have been cut 8 different ways if it's pivoting on my character's reaction.
How big a part of your taking this role was Peter's directing the movie?
I did everything. He did nothing. He did everything. I did nothing. Together, we were collaborative.
How do you feel about the final movie?
The final movie?
Yes.
It sucks.
None of us wrote that down.
You don't believe me, do you? Let me check my notes. This is crazy. It's a crazy movie.
Did you watch it with us last night?
Yes, I did. I saw half of it. I came in late and I left early. And I liked the middle. No, I saw the rough cut. So all I can say is the middle was great. I before it ended because I don't want to hear gratuitous compliments. Because I had a lot of inner thinking to do on what we'll be talking about today, and just the movie. I just wanted to go home and write and sit with myself, and I didn't want to be distracted by opinions, good or bad. I wanted to go home and think about it.
For what it's worth.
22. Sorry? I go home and I study, language, etymology, word roots, and how we apply them, and humor. How can I best sidestep the rigid nature of humanity through language? It's all about getting in touch with what we mean to say, and sometimes what you mean to say is contradicted and enhanced at the same time by conversational sort of lubricants, like oh yeah, sure, well, why not? I know what you mean, right on. It's a Canadian thing, really. The conversational lubricant. Yeah, why not? Sure.
Do you know Brad or just his work?
I saw Brad in Thelma and Louise, and after I saw that, I thought, this lad is onto something, and I've respected him since.
And is it true that you were offered that role and turned it down?
Which one?
Thelma and Louise, his role?
No, that is not true. Not true at all.
Offered it.
I was never offered that role that I know of, unless someone lied to me.
Could you drop out of an interview with a vampire after Tom Cruise was cast if you wanted to?
Why would I want to?
Well, if you did.
Oh, it's a hypothetical. It's a good thing you didn't use he. Using he as representing me. I am it. As far as Tom goes, I like Tom. I think that he represents many of us males. He certainly isn't speaking for everyone, but he speaks for a lot. And I was signed to the project. I signed my name beforehand. I was on the project. Actually, Brad Pitt was first. I was second, and since then they've done, and I trust Neil a great deal. So here we are.
Harrison Ford said that Spielberg's been talking to him about an Indiana Jones 4.
Well, then they should be calling me any day now, if they have any sense.
And would you do it?
I will do anything for Harrison and Spielberg because they're the best. I think Harrison is my hero. He is my father in a past life. What next?
Can you sign something for me? How do you feel about autographs?
I feel like autographing something.
Okay, thanks.
So I hope you guys listen. The sound incidentally last night was really bad. I couldn't hear a damn thing. A lot of the characters. It was an awful sound system in that theater. So excuse that and see it again where you can understand the words because you probably missed a lot. I only understood it because I did it.
Are you in the soundtrack?
Thank God. No. What's your name again? Ricky. All right. Yes, sir.
Sounded great.
You like it? Thank you kindly. Appreciate it. But the sound overall, the dialogue with the background music, it's a surround sound mix. I think that theater was just stereo. So what you do is you have the compiled back, left, right, shoved into and so you get like effects that are reverb oriented or what have you, all the ambient stuff, all in one, and so it becomes so jumbled and you were distorting, and it was an awful sound system. So I'm sorry for that. Here's your pen.
I thought your performance sequences were excellent.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. You give me hope for a better tomorrow.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
I thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.